Well, how are you feeling? You got John Riggs here with Open Cart Surgery. It's a video I like to do to breathe new life into games that aren't working anymore. Maybe they're broken, maybe they're dirty, maybe they just need some tender love and care, and that's what I'm here for. I'm all about that tender, I can't even say that with a straight face. So, up for grabs right now, on tap today is Ex-Mutants is what it's supposed to say. This game's all ripped up and beat up and comes to me from Video Game Gallery in Chandler, Arizona, which reminds me, I'm going to be at the Game On Expo coming up later on this year. Second weekend of August, I'm going to be in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Game On Expo. It's going to be a wonderful time, and I'm hoping to see you there. In fact, from what I understand, most of, if not every member of the Metal Jesus crew will be there, including this guy right here. So can we get this working? We're gonna find out. Again, I have no electronics engineering background. I have no technical degree. I've just been doing this since the 90s, and I have pretty decent success rate with doing a couple of things. I'm gonna pop it in first just to see what it looks like, and we'll go in from there. Now I'm using this Super Retro Trio 3 Plus, which does Genesis, Super Nintendo, and regular Nintendo games, just because it's handy. Watch it work first time. I didn't think so. All right, well, let's try cleaning it first and go from there. Now, I've seen people use rubbing alcohol and Q-tips. I've seen people use like Windex and stuff like that. Me personally, I happen to like these 1-Up cards. Rubbing alcohol and Q-tips work all the same, but these are just handy to have. So, and of course, this one has my face on it because I use these as business cards to give out at conventions. But you have a little fluid side and a dry side. I'm gonna put the fluid on the fluid side. The fluid side is rubbing alcohol. And these fit right in your case without having to open them up. If you do have to open it up, that's not so bad. Genesis games usually take a 4.5 millimeter security bit, but we'll see if we have to go that far. Let's have a look. Well, spoiler alert, it didn't work. I don't know why I cut off there. I hit the wrong button, but I'm gonna use something I like to call Bright Boy. I like to call it that because that's what it's called. It's like Brasso. Here's what it looks like, just in case you're curious. It's a metal polisher, but it doesn't leave that weird residue. And I'm already seeing some progress here. So hopefully this is the case. And I'm curious again where this came from. Chandler, Arizona. Interesting. Anyway, let's have a look. That right in there. Show the screen. That's better. It's blue instead of pink or purplish or red or whatever it was. And something very unconventional. From 1-Up card to Bright Boy, back to the 1-Up card. I'm wondering if that's the case. I don't know. I just don't want to work on it. It's Ex-Mutants. It's not a very good game, but still, I guess no game should be left behind, right? Leave no games behind. Come on, buddy. Aw, man. So this is a bigger bit than the Nintendo ones. This is the 4.5 millimeter for most Sega Genesis games. A lot of Genesis games have a lot of different sizes. There's these kind, there's the Phillips screwdriver, but there's also like a Torx bit and stuff like that. There's all kinds of weird things with Genesis games, so it's almost on a case-by-case basis. Genesis games, very simple by design. That's all it is. That's all it is. One big old chip. Should we save it? Let me try just popping it in like this and see what happens. You know, I could have just said, that game is terrible, I don't care if it gets saved. I have a prejudice against this game, apparently. Hey, there's a different color at least. Alright, so we're doing something here. You know what? Of all the games I could save, Ex-Mutants. Fine. Alright, I'll see if I can save it. I do have extra boards that will work with basically any Genesis game ever, so I'm going to use one of those after I unsolder this. And like Super Nintendo games, hopefully you can just pull it out with your fingers, just like such. This board I'm going to toss. This is the game I need to keep this clean and safe. So this is a suitable board. There's several places online that sell stuff like this. You can check out Muramosa's website and more. That basically you just pop it in there, let it know what it is, whether it be like a 4 meg or not a 4 meg. And there's not too many games that are 4 meg games. Some of the hacks are maybe. And it'll work just fine. But before I do this, it's not a bad idea if you do a lot of these board swaps to make something like this. Now this is like a testing board. I took a board that I knew worked. I think this came from like an EA Sports game. And then I put in a socketed board. So you can pop it in there. You don't have to solder it once you pop it in there. You just pop it in there. If it works, great. Then you pop it back out, and then you program it, or then you solder it onto an actual working board. Because you know it's the game that's working. I'm going to try using this on this. Now, how Genesis games work are you have to compare meg sizes. Games are either half a meg, like 512 12K, 1 meg, 2 meg, or 4 meg. Like Mega Man 2 Wily Wars, for instance, is a 2 meg game. So if you're gonna make Mega Man Wily Wars, you need to find another 2 meg game by just downloading like a ROM pack and saying, oh, hey, the Madden games are a 2 meg game with the battery, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna pop this in here. I don't know if this is a 2 meg game. I'm going to assume it is. And if it is, it'll work. If not, then it may not work, and it still may not work. But I'm gonna try this just in case. That makes sense? Maybe, hopefully. So again, I'm gonna pop it in just to see if it works. I hope it does, and it's not telling me anything. Well, let's find out what meg size this is, because if it's not 2 meg, if it's anything else, then it wouldn't work anyway. So Ex-Mutants is a 1 meg game, not a 2 meg game. It may still work. I'm gonna go ahead and solder it onto that one thing. So I know what you're asking yourself. Well, if you have a 2 meg one, how come you don't just have one for all of them? Good question, I don't know. I'll make one right now, how about that? Well, as it kind of turns out, I did have one, and this uses it's the same thing as this one, just a different color, but it has a spot where you can have either 4 meg or any other meg. So I'm gonna solder the any other meg, and we'll see if it works that way. Out of all the tools I have on this table, from the consoles and games to the soldering iron, desoldering iron, the 1-Up cards, Bright Boy, that blue thermal pad that I use that keeps your screws in place because it has magnets in it. One of my favorite tools that I have, handiest tools, is this EEPROM remover. And a big shout out to Alex Upton for cluing me in on this. This thing has been a godsend. I used to use it as a screwdriver. Put it in there, prop it up. It's like, no, you could be scratching the board when you do that. And I have. But with this, so handy, especially if you're doing a lot of this action. You see, the other cool thing about making your own socket boards, and you can find the sockets, just, eBay sockets or whatever, eBay, EEPROM sockets, you'll find them. The cool thing is, once you have these made, it's basically an EverDrive. You can put whatever game you want on here. This is an EEPROM, well, this is not an EEPROM, but you have your EEPROMs, you program a game on there, maybe you want to play, Castlevania for a while, you do that, you beat it. You're like, all right, then you erase it and you put another game on there. It's pretty handy. All right, if this doesn't work, this game's broken. I don't think I've ever spent so much time and energy on one game that I don't even like. From a source I don't even know where it is. That place in Chandler, Arizona. All right, just work for me so I can get it over with. No, you don't want to do that to me for me? Nothing. Oh no, I lost it forever and I'm not gonna be able to find it ever again. That's how that works. Anyway, so I thank you for watching all the same. Sorry it wasn't a success this time around, but if you like these open cart surgery videos and you want to learn some more, I got a whole playlist full of them right here. You gotta watch all the open cart surgery videos. I have a ton of them that I've done throughout the years. And if you like seeing new games for older games for newer systems, awesome gaming items right there, and you gotta click this right here to subscribe for more videos. I always have more videos on the way. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you at Game On Expo coming up later on this year.